Hi there, this is Dev Team Tactical, and I wanted to talk to you today about the Savage PCS in 300 Blackout. It is a left side charging, right side ejecting bolt action, chambered in 300 Blackout. It comes with an MDT chassis with a 10.5 inch barrel that is threaded. I have mounted a 20 MOA rail with a Athlon 3-18 Aries ETR. We have an Atlas bipod, the BT17. I wanted to go with the longer extension if I'm going to be using this out in the forest and taller brush. It does have a 1913 pick rail with 3 vertical slots in it to attach a brace, and as such, that is what I'd like to talk about today. We have been working over the past few months making prototypes, and we're finally printing. We started with a longer folder. It had a bunch of internal locking lugs. However, they broke off fairly easily. They were not as strong, and it seemed that there was always a lot of deformation and wear on the joint. From there, we shortened it very slightly. We went down to 4 larger lugs. This seemed to increase the wear, and we did some chamfering and small changes around the profile. From there, we found that we were not getting enough comb height, so I increased it, the height of the cheek rest there, and we can see that we have a very rudimentary locking system with a basic spring and M8 bolt that drives those lugs. It's a little difficult by hand. Back into place, and they lock very securely. And I ran this for a while, and I figured I wanted a higher level of refinement. It's functional, it's very strong. To demonstrate the strength of one of these prints, I'm going to attempt to break one. You can't do it. Then I figured we would go to a slimmer profile. We recessed the bolt heads. We moved down to an M6 socket cap screw. Bolt is missing there. And then we brought down the size of the entire assembly. We tapered everything down, smoothed it out. We put a chamfer here to get easier hand access, but I ended up getting rid of this feature because it ended up cutting into you there, and it was going to be kind of difficult to make that all smooth and make it look good. We designed a new spring pocket inside that I will show you on the CAD that allows it to be driven down with a smaller spring that will not bind as easily inside the mechanism as this large, just flat spring that's just sitting flush on each of the faces. Now it's recessed inside the pockets so that it cannot slide and bind, especially when folding the mechanism. This is what I believe to be one of the final iterations. We added a bubble level that you could slide in here. I'll grab one now so you can see how that looks. It is a pretty good little mod, I think. We did have to extend the body of it to fit that, and I'm not sure I'm super happy about that. And so in the next iteration, what we've done is actually move the bubble level back in line with the bolt hole and shorten it. And so we got these smaller bubble levels. You can see them here, so that it will sit centered within the brace. So yeah, let's fit one up to the rifle here and show you how it works. So while our new version is printing, I fitted up the original brace adapter, or the latest iteration that I had. It is printed out of a slightly flimsier plastic, but it is still functional. And it has been on and off a few times, so it doesn't fit quite as tightly anymore. But initially they do fit very tight on the rail. That will be the next iteration, is putting a lock through there. So you can easily push down on it and rotate the brace out of the way. Folds down nice and smooth. Just push down. I wanted something that didn't require a button. So it's just a downward push. The whole thing unlocks. And it locks into place. And it's not going anywhere. This one is a little bit looser. We were messing with some tolerances on the internal diameters there. But we've figured it out now, and it shouldn't wobble like this in the future. Our most recent iteration, we're using on shape. You can see we've made quite a few changes to the exterior of the hinge area. This has been the most focused on part, making sure these are the correct width to fit the rail and that we're not interfering. We can hide a part real quick. You can see we have chamfered and filleted the edges of the feed locking feeds so that they slope in and latch more smoothly. We've added the spring cup here. Sorry, wrong side. As well as on part 2, there's a deeper one. This gives us good spring tension while also giving the spring somewhere to recess into when you do collapse it. All right, continuing, after successfully printing in a white PLA, we found it was too brittle. We had incorporated this bubble level, but we got rid of this as I believe it is better incorporated elsewhere on the rifle. But it cracked as soon as we tightened it down. It is still incredibly strong in its layer line orientation, but outside of that, the PLA is just too brittle. So we moved on to this PETG Army Green carbon fiber infused filament. All right, we are taking a look, continuing on the next iteration of the folding brace. Over the past week, we did a little bit of work and didn't get to record it. I was traveling. We now have a version that is similar to the previous gen, but we have removed the... Here, let's do that. We have removed the bubble level, and we've scaled things back. And it still functions the exact same way, but now it's printed out of that CF PETG filament. And after this, we're probably gonna start doing some new designs.